our samples. Okay, right at that point right there. Obviously, we wouldn't want to do it before our chemical test because we want all of the different constituents in the actual sample. So we got a positive for occult blood, and it was the hemolyzed, okay, whole blood. If we had hematuria, which of course is the non-hemolyzed version, and we centrifuged it, what would happen is we would not have it show up on the dipstick because we just centrifuged all of the red cells down to the bottom of the sediment. Okay? Now we can tell that this sample has been centrifuged because if you look right here, you can see that there's like a clump in the bottom of the tube. Okay? And that clump is all white cells, red cells, mucus, crystals, whatever it happens to be down there. Okay? We don't want to put on the refractometer the sediment because obviously all of those chunks would make us have an erroneous high value for our specific gravity. So what we would do is we would go ahead and we would check our refractometer to make certain that it reads with distilled water 1.000. Okay. And then we take a drop of our sediment, or excuse me, our supernatant off the top. And we go ahead and we put it on the refractometer. Don't be stingy, okay? Just put a bunch on there, okay? And then we would read it. I think I tried this before, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work, okay? So remember that specific gravity is going to be a number, and I'll look at it just so I can tell you what it is. Okay. The sample is 1.050. Okay. Remember, all specific gravity for urine is going to start with 1.0. So if you're writing down 1.3, you know that that's incorrect. Okay. Now, I don't have to dilute this urine. I could read it. It was on the scale. If it wasn't on the scale, I would have to correct for dilution. Okay? And how I would do that is I would mix equal parts of urine supernate, okay, from the sample, and distilled water. Okay? Now, what that's going to do is it's going to dilute out that urine and it's going to bring it down on the scale. Then what you're going to do is you're going to read it again, okay? So you mix these in a little little container, and I'll show you where they are when we get in class, a little container. So you mix your urine supernatant and your distilled water together, and then you put a drop of that back on the refractometer. And what it will do is it'll dilute it by half. So it's going to look like this for this sample. I just diluted it in half. And so what we do to correct is we multiply it times 2, and those two numbers should be equal. Okay? And we can talk about that a little bit more in class if you need to, but it's pretty easy to do. And anytime you're off the scale, you want to do that. We don't want to walk up to Dr. Murphy and say, well, Dr. Murphy, it was off the scale, and I feel like I'm not really sure what it is. Okay? And so Dr. Murphy's going to want an exact number. And so that's what we would do. We would go ahead and mix equal parts of the urine supernatant and distilled water together, put it back on the refractometer and read it, and then we do the multiplication. Okay? You don't multiply the 1 by 2. You only multiply the last two numbers. Okay? Make sure you clean off your refractometer with distilled water and dry it, and you should be good to go. Thank you.